everyone. We'll start in another 2-3 minutes. Hi everyone. So we'll start in another 2-3 minutes. So the presenter is trying to log in. A very good afternoon, everyone. Hope all of you are safe and healthy in your at home. So today we have arranged a webinar session for you to tell you about the career path that is there in Salesforce. So today we have with us Mr. Aditya Dubey, who is a Salesforce developer, admin, service, cloud consultant within TCS. So Aditya also has got a rich work experience of 9+ years in building customer experience, conducting business workshops, and Salesforce technical and operational solution across functions. He is well practiced at bringing business and technology teams together to develop client solutions and underlying business cases. He has managed CRM implementation programs for multiple clients. He has been also involved in analyzing business requirements and defining high-level solutions to address complex business needs. So I would like to welcome Aditya. Aditya, I would request you to address the students.
Very much. Thanks a lot for the introduction. So, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah. So, thanks a lot. So, um, today we will be covering mainly about what career paths we have it into the Salesforce. If you takes up the niche skill, this niche technology to build up your career down the line. So, I'll give you a brief about it and. Just let me know in case if you're having any questions at the last of session. We are good to take it up, and I hope like this sessions were going on from last few days now. So hope everybody is having a flavor of Salesforce now, like how it is, what it is all about, and uh, in terms of technology to each and every one of us on when we talk about the different technology in the IT industry. So let me start. Let me know once everybody is able to see my screen. Then we can start going through the whole deck altogether.
You can see your screen.
Screen, right? Okay. So let me just give you a brief about like uh, everybody in college life we come to know about many of the languages or many of the technologies what we usually works on, right, as a part of our curriculum, and we are passing on the exams, and we always have that question in mind. Okay, what would be the best technology, and what if I select some of the other technology if I'll get into the IT industry, what it is going on there, and how I can build up my career there, how it can take it me for a longer duration and all. So considering all those things in mind, I have just prepared few slides to give you a brief about like if you start your career in Salesforce down the line once you are into the IT industry, right? How what it offers to you, and at the same time what Salesforce forecast in terms of the development which is planned by the Salesforce company itself. Considering all those points, it might be helpful down the line once you are into the IT industries to choose, okay, like I'm in a right path, and from there, what would be good for me, and based on our interpersonal skills, based on our technical skills, what Salesforce path we should follow. Okay, so let me just start from here. So uh, when we start about the Salesforce career paths, right? So once you are onboarded into IT industries, and if you get the Salesforce projects to be work on, it's think a tool or what it brings to me in case if I choose this career, will it be a will I be bound towards any of the particular technology, or is it something how it goes onto the long run?
So when we talk about the Salesforce altogether, right? So I hope you have already aware about that Salesforce being one of the, or I can say, the top CRM tool in market right now, which offers the multiple solutions to their client. And in order to fulfill all those things to be in place, we do have multiple roles in the industry which we normally follows, and in order to make sure that we are onto the right path and following the rules clearly, we have the certifications to be in place. And in order to complete those certifications, there are 100 plus training resources where we can have the trailheads in place, trail mixes in place. So covering everything like high level, we do have around six rules mainly which you can choose of from Salesforce, where you can cover almost 25 certifications on the different paths what Salesforce offers, and at the same time, these certifications can be acquired using the different training resources available by the Salesforce, and at the same time, the training is being made available by some of the other sources as well. So depending on that, we do have this high level things in place. So when we move ahead, when we talk about the different rules, what we have in place, right? If we talk about the six rules, it is always, uh, I guess, being in a college, we already always think about, okay, there is a single role which starts from developer, and then from there the senior Salesforce developer, and this is how it moves on. So this is something a brief about what's the role we all works upon, and what kind of things we do usually on being in that role. So Salesforce developer is something where whoever is having a dream coder, right, where we have to get into the codes and update the classes, Apex, and all. So Salesforce developer is a core role which everybody should start from there, and to understand Salesforce more in detail. So Salesforce developer is the basic role which where we can start, and where we can understand all the coding related stuff, the efficiency of Salesforce, and to understand how it works and how it has been designed altogether. And if you start from Salesforce developer, it is not something you can be just a Salesforce developer, a senior developer, and a technical lead. You, only you can get into a role of a Salesforce architect, which is consist of your experience based on what you have worked into the industry, and how you have grown yourself in terms of understanding first of all the role which you can follow, at the same time following up the roles, then certifications, and you can reach up to a role of Salesforce architect. So there was always been like a questions comes to me whenever I'm doing this type of sessions from students, like what is the difference between the developer and the administrator, what roles it follows if we don't have the much of code understanding to be in place. Will it be a good option for us to start, and if we want to start it from college altogether, what would be the best thing to start and learn from the Salesforce? As I told, Salesforce developer is something which is a core technical thing, where you have to work on the codes, and mainly work on the uh, customization part. And when we talk about the Salesforce administrator role, being Salesforce is a tool, like if you already know about it, Salesforce is a customer relationship management tool, which already comes up with so many inbuilt features to be in place, which can be enhanced to a level where it can fulfill the requirements of the different industries who are using the Salesforce right now. So, a Salesforce administrator is a role where you do need to have a good knowledge of Salesforce, and without getting much into the code, still we can manage the Salesforce as administrator, where the different types of roles can be configured, or the different levels in administrator as well. So if somebody is like I didn't got much of the logics to be in place, and I am someone who can more play with the application and bring it more up to the mark. So Salesforce administrator is mainly for those who looks out the Salesforce to be not into much into the code, but still want to have a good grip onto the application altogether. And starting base should always be a developer to understand, and then the administrator is something a good option altogether. And once you are into the industry for some time, when you start holding the Salesforce a bit more based on the different certifications which Salesforce offers, you can always choose a path where you can be a administrator, from a administrator to a consultant, from consultant to a technical BA, and from technical BA you can get into the different type of role. And at the same time, if you are being into a more into a technical side where you want to play with the codes and uh, be with the application code development, love to play with the logic, then we do have a developer which goes up to an architect. So architect is a position where solutioning is something which plays a big role to understand and reviewing that solution, and it is being managed onto the program level. So this is all about the different roles which we have it in place, but this is not something which you can directly start with some architect or consultant or BA. You have to start learning from your college itself, considering about the developer or administrator, and from there you can choose the path. Okay, what would be the best for me? So these are the different roles altogether which Salesforce generally offers for us. Okay, so when we
Sorry to interrupt. If you can show the slide on full screen.
is it not on full screen?
No.
Okay, just give me a second then. So is it visible on full screen now?
Yes, Aditya.
Right. Okay. So sorry for that. So let me move to a next slide then. So we talked about the different roles to be in place, which covers right from admin, developer, consultant, analyst, and all. And when we trying to map that those roles, we should try to understand, okay, what Salesforce gives us a overall a layer where we usually works in terms of the technical things. So this slide is something which you can have a different roles which you can choose to be, and you can plan your career accordingly. And in the right hand side you will be able to see all the different type of applications or the different apps or the different features of Salesforce, which we have it in place, and from there it can be mapped. So you can be a Salesforce consultant, and Salesforce consultant. There is a specific sales consultant, there is a service consultant, there is a marketing consultant. So there are the different consultant for the different apps which are in place. Being a Salesforce developer, also when you start your career with the Salesforce developer, then you are having a app builder to be in place, PD to be in place, and when you reaches out onto a top of the roles, whatever you choose, you will be having a better understanding about how this different layer works. And being in a Salesforce, it's being a huge tool altogether. So it is not something you will be knowing end to end each and everything about Salesforce, but as we move on a next round or on the next level of understanding the Salesforce, you will be good to map yourself. Okay, I've started my career as a Salesforce developer. I worked on maybe the 2 to 3 apps now, and now I have a good grip on a Sales Cloud or Service Cloud, or I am more into the force.com. I just want to be more into the development of Apex classes to be in place, or I want to be a Lightning Web developer. So these are the different layers which will help you to map yourself. That if I've started as a Salesforce developer or administrator, to start learning from a college, once I choose, I have a career in place. I do have so many features which is being offered from the Salesforce side to be taken up for down the line, maybe for next 10 to 12 years to be in line. And each year we are getting some other new features being added upon, which are having a huge demand right now from everyone, whoever is using right now or who are supposed to use it into the future. They everybody is, sorry, trying to have the visibility and the good I can say a team who can understand and work on all these features given by the Salesforce. Okay, so after that, this is how the tracks, this different certification tracks what we have it in place. So if you choose administrator one, so you can start off with administrator, and in administrator, after administrator, you have a certification which where you can go with the advanced administrator part. When you choose for a platform app builder, you can start off with so the platform app builder is something which you have to complete it after the admin only. And when we talk about the developer related course, so for college students, the uh, things which starts from is from the administrator or the developers. So the administrator offers the two main certifications to be in place. And when we talk about the development part, we are having the PD1 and PD2 is something which is most in demand certification where everybody has to start off with to have a basic knowledge to be in place. And once we have the clarity and completed this certification, then you can choose the wide range of certifications and your career path to take like where you want to go. So it includes the architects, it includes the specialists, it includes the consultants. So it offers a big path altogether once we have the once we have our roadmap decide, or once we understand ourselves. Okay, like I am being new to any of the IT industry, or if I'm being new to something which really not don't know about, but I know about myself that. Will I be able to put the logics in place? Will I be able to do the codes in place? Do I know the codes or whatever I've learned as a part of college life in 4 years, which includes the Java, C, C++, .NET, everything. So this is what the base where it comes from, and this is the time where you have to choose. Okay, what would be the best career path altogether in terms of taking the career ahead to the next level. So how we can do it? So this is something which is you might join the companies down the line, but right now, how I can start building my skills on the Salesforce. That's the most important part, because making yourself ready for opting out something from college itself is the best time, I can say. So because being a open source tool, that there is no dependency as such that you can learn it once you are into any of the companies, or if you join any IT industry, then only you can learn it. So that is the best part of Salesforce, that you need not to be a dependent at all. You can start learning that career right from now itself, where you can start just looking into the learning sessions what the Salesforce provides openly, onto the open platform from the Salesforce directly, which we normally tells, okay, that these are the 12 heads, 12 mixes. So you have to just first of all think about yourself. If you really want to make your career into the Salesforce, start attending the learning sessions or go through the blogs what is available over the internet to understand what the Salesforce is all about. And then once you have a good understanding of Salesforce, you can start completing the trailheads, trail mixes, or the different kind of certification, because there is no foundation as such into the to complete any certification and trailheads that you have to be a part of some other organization to get. So that is this is the beauty of Salesforce, irrespective of you can be into any profession or being into a college. It gives you a very good option to start your career, because when I was being into a college 10 years back, I was never know about it, that like this is also something which I can start it directly from there. to start, learn, complete the online exams, trailheads, go and get the certifications. And once you have the certifications, you will be having your resumes to be more, I can say, having a good weightage altogether. If it showcased that you have a if not the 100% understanding, but you are keen to learn at least the new technologies which are being used very much into the oil into the industry right now. So start think about it. Do attend the learning sessions. Just take it out. As I told you, there are different trailheads for certain developers. There are a few for the administrators. Choose what you are willing to take it up. Prepare for it. Go ahead. If you want to get yourself certified, you can get yourself certified, and that certification is always there for you. Okay, and the beauty of Salesforce is whenever you are acquiring for any of the certificate, it is not something like it will keep with you for the years to come. You have to get your maintenance exams cleared in every 3 months, so it will keep you also updated that what Salesforce bringing new into the market, and how you can keep yourself also updated on that. So just you can start working on it and plan it accordingly, and then you have more clarity on the with yourself, like where you are heading to. So this is something which I can say what to do in order to become a Salesforce professionals. And when if you'll see the pyramid what I'm trying to showcase, so this is how the Salesforce career goes, right from starting as a developer or as an administrator, and it can get you into a level of a technical architect. So technical architect is something which to reach out to this particular peak, you have to clear so many certifications. At the same time, you need to have a very sound knowledge of Salesforce with so many case studies in place, and it took a time of at least 12 to 15 years to reach out to this position, because you have to really work hard. You have to be a specialized first, then you have to be a domain architect. So this is something just level beyond a technical architect. You have to be a domain architect to be in place, then you can become a technical architect. So this pyramid shows overall your career growth, which you can definitely plan. Yeah, right from starting in a college with learning sessions to be attended, then getting into industry and reaching out to a technical architect. This is really a very beautiful journey altogether, where where you can get a hell lot of opportunities to work with the different peoples. You can learn a lot of things at the same time, working closely on Salesforce with Salesforce to understand okay how it works overall. And the way Salesforce is changing drastically from last few years is superb, because I guess you already everyone of you have heard about the cloud computing and all, and mainly into the CRM industry. Salesforce is the first one who came up with the cloud computing concepts, where you have the SaaS, PaaS related concepts comes into the picture. So this is overall. I just want to showcase you being in a college, how can start, and that how that journey from college can get and take you to a top peak on into the Salesforce itself. Okay, so we had a lot of discussion about okay, we know okay what to choose, what not to choose, but what is the future holds for Salesforce? This is not something which we as a TCS decides or any other organization decides. This is something which what plan or what future Salesforce as a CRM company itself sees down the line. So what Salesforce just a second. This is something which has been released somewhere next last 2 years. What the future Salesforce is seeing in itself, because we being supporting to some or the other our clients, but the Salesforce is someone who has a broader picture, like how it is being utilized all over the world. And when we talk about in specific about what type of jobs it brings, and what level of career it can bring it to me, and this is something which you can just keep in your mind, like they are predicting it somewhere 3.3 million jobs to be created in Salesforce itself by 2022, and it might go beyond that as well. And two of the best 10 best jobs are Salesforce specific right now into the IT industry. So if you'll see the top 10 jobs, what IT industry it gives to you is compromises, or it consists of two roles which is being worked onto the Salesforce side. And apart from that, the Salesforce said this is a number one tech skill paying tool. At the same time, the 300K new jobs almost every year, and a faster job growth. So the growth what it gives to you in terms of your career, to learn new things, to understand new things, to become a more better professional in terms of understanding the Salesforce in core. This is something which nobody's seen, but this is something, the prediction what we have it in future, and this is something which has been given by Salesforce itself. This is not something which is coming from for some other organization. So you can find out all this more in detail about it into the Salesforce website as well. And so, what in all industries? This question also comes up so many times. Okay, Salesforce is being used, but how it is being used? Who is using it? And why it is being used? So I guess you already have a now idea about it, like what in all industries using the Salesforce right now, and how it is being utilized, and how the sales cloud works, how the service cloud works, how the marketing cloud works, what is the Einstein is all about. And apart from that, there are so many other things like Lightning Web Components, Force.com, Heroku. So all these features are in place, but who all are using it right now? So this is are the top industries which are using the Salesforce right now, and for some of the other business, what they usually do into the day-to-day business for the different clients altogether. So softwares, IT services, finance companies, hospitals and medical services, few non-profit organizations, the marketing companies, the advertising companies. So most of them were using the Salesforce, which is not visible to to the end user, but we can say the things are being on hold and being driven from the backend side, from the Salesforce side. So these are all the different industries. So these are the few only. There's a long list which we can go through where the Salesforce is being utilized end to end, with most of the features to be in place, because it gives you a lot of features which we can't cover in a session of an hour or so. So these are the few top industries which uses them, and it is being used heavily in these industries. And there are some recent studies as well. So normally in the industry, Salesforce also gives you a do some studies and all together, and they keeps it circulating to all over the world, like how it is being growed, and what is the feature it holds in terms of learning, in terms of growth and everything. So there are a few studies which tells like there is a superb increment in Salesforce skills in last few years. So it was going from 1.9 million to 3.3 million in 2020. So this is something, it is getting doubled in every 2 to 3 years, which is something which gives you a high level picture how it is being opted as a tool in each and every industry. That's why we are having the Salesforce skills are being demanded, or it is so much in most of the companies as well. And the way it is providing the different kind of roles to be in place, it is also tremendous. And it is obvious fact that technical skill remains high demand in the current job market, yes, as always, because the second point after that, it talks about the Salesforce. So in 2019, Salesforce developer is the best job of 2019. Okay, which was giving average salary of about, so it is something which is again being published by Salesforce itself. So everything is in dollars, and it consists of the data collected from the from all over the world. So as per the data by Indeed in 2019, it has listed Salesforce developers among the best jobs of 2019. So you can see your growth in itself, being a developer and being a developer onto the any of the Salesforce platforms. It means you are working on one of the best job profiles which industry can offer you. This is again which is based on the different type of studies what Salesforce usually does, along with the data provided, or the pipeline what they are seeing, or the growth what they are seeing it to be in place. And the Salesforce developer has got 129% growth in several jobs. So the people who started their career with the Salesforce, they are getting a really good growth in terms of how they can make their career and how they can move forward to have different roles and different aspirations to be in place. So it is giving a posting of around 129% growth from 2015 to 18. And this is again something that steady is what we talk about. Uh, so after that, what we conclude as a part of overall the what we think about having a sales force to be chosen to the different in the different technologies, or what or rules, the different questions, or the different things what it offers to you is Salesforce, the technology that is not going anywhere into the future, as far as the future is concerned. So getting into the Salesforce, starting the Salesforce learning from college itself will definitely gonna help you, and will take you to the best of the rules which the different industries are offering right now. So you can be assured about your future about once you start getting into the Salesforce. Then um, you should start yourself with leading technology. You can start working towards uh, uh, having a role, or we can say you can you can keep your aspiration to become a Salesforce professionals. And in order to do that, you need not to wait as such to get into any of the company and then start learning, and then you can take up that path. That aspiration can be taken care from the college itself. And the best part here is because in order to become a Salesforce professionals down the line, the dependency is not there, and the training methods what Salesforce usually offers for the students or for the professionals, it's very much to be open up. So you can find the basics of Salesforce to be in place. Yeah, for the professionals being in the different organizations, so we works closely with Salesforce to have the people ready, and to have that type of curriculum also to be in place. But you being into the college, the method of training is very best option, where you can start it up, have the 12 hits completed related to the Salesforce basics, Then if you want it to be a more advanced, want to get into a more advanced version, then also you don't have the dependencies as such, and everything is of free of cost. There is nothing as such which you have to pay for the Salesforce or any one of it. You can start learning, seeing some of the other training materials, trailheads. Yeah, for the certification is something which is for which everybody has to pay for. But in order to learn and train yourself into the Salesforce, this is the best way. And the training timetable should be adaptable enough with the a good goal that incorporates both theory and practical sessions. So, if any one of you have ever tried to get into a toilets, how it offers is it is not something which only gives you the theory to be read it out and answer a few of the questions and it's completed out and they're done. So this is how it not even works, even for whom who don't know the Salesforce. Even the training material is a design it in a way that whatever you are uh, reading it as a theory, we have to make sure that it is being implemented practically as well in your sessions. Because if Salesforce offers you to create your own guest access, which restricts the number of users to use, but you can do all your practical, whatever you are seeing into the trailheads, whatever you are learning it out from the Salesforce, different, can say the channels, everything can be done practically. And at the same time, if you are keen enough, you can find it out. And even in Salesforce, if you'll find out, there are the trailheads which covers the practical sessions of that particular trailhead. And at the same time, when you have to complete it overall at the last, it might offer a kind of we can say small projects also, where you have to do a end-to-end kind of setup in Salesforce, which is a good learning altogether, which will give you a flavor to understand, okay, that where you are heading to, and how the things were going. And when you submit it or gets it verified, Salesforce checks it, okay, you have the practical sessions completed, whatever the instructions are given to you is being followed up, and then only you have crossed it. If any of the points, if you are getting missed out while going through it, and if it is not implemented on your practice orgs, it will not let you clear, and it will not mark you clear into the system. So understanding about all these aspects of Salesforce, you can start working on it. You can start learning about it, the different level of, I can say, the different channels of which we get set. At the same time, the different rules it flows. There are a hell lot of things to learn, and it really gives a great opportunity to make your career in the Salesforce. So hope you can start looking into whatever is available from the Salesforce side, and start implementing, start at least learning about it and implement it. And then you are good to have on the first step to be a Salesforce professionals down the line. So this is all I have in terms of the career path discussion altogether. I have not covered anything technically here. So if you have any questions, it's very much open, and we are good to take the questions.
Thank you, Aditya. We have some questions from the students here. So, the first question is if you can help with the platform where certifications and all are available, where the students can take up and start learning. Are there any platforms?
What happens in Salesforce is we need not to be dependent. So once you have completed the trailheads, right? Trailheads have been completed. There is a center by the name Quetron, which is being again a part of Salesforce only. You can register yourself for the certifications and these certifications are mainly being done onto the Salesforce certified services centers only. So in order to get certified, you just need to pay an amount there, take a slot, and go and give an exam.
So there are more questions relating certification as to are certifications really important to start the career, or they can simply join a firm and get some experience in sales and start their career, or is it as advisable to get certifications?
So this is not something that certifications are the placeholders to start your career with. It is not at all a case. You can always start learning Salesforce and start attending those sessions, the trailheads, start completing them. But the certification is something which makes your learning more transparent. So suppose if I am being, I know about the Salesforce administrator, and if I have the certification, it will give a weightage to your resume altogether that you have completed it, the certifications as well. But it is not something the mandatory one that you have to complete it. At least if you have the basic knowledge to be in place, and if you are getting it into in any of the interviews, and if you're able to explain it whatever you did into the Salesforce as a part of learning, that is also something good enough, I can say.
Okay, there's another question. What is a difference between a normal developer and a Salesforce developer? So, what will be the difference, to be precise?
Uh, okay, so what happens in Salesforce? So we are using a coding language called Apex. Okay, so all the codes, all the classes, everything is written onto the Apex, and this is the language which is being derived from the Java and the JavaScript. So the developer is being the same. You worked as a Java developer, you can work as a .NET developer, you can work as a C Sharp developer. So developer term remains the same, but the you're the on the platform where you are doing the development, it differs based on the different languages, right? So it is the same. Being a Java developer, you are building your system functionality using the Java language. When we talk about the Salesforce developer, Salesforce is having its own language by the name Apex. You are doing the development of the whole application on the Apex, so that's why it's termed as a Salesforce developer.
So, if you can, there's a question. Please explain the role of Salesforce developer in TCS and how TCS is using Salesforce. I'm sure it must have, you must have covered it during the session, but if you can throw more light upon it.
Okay, so as a Salesforce developer, mm, like what is the question? Do what the Salesforce developers do in TCS? Is it the question?
Yes, Aditya. So
Okay.
exactly what work they do and what kind of work we do in Salesforce practice.
Okay. Okay. So in Salesforce practice, when we talk about the development, so I started my career also as a Salesforce developer, uh, mm, almost 10 years back in 2010, 11, and it remains the same. Once you are onboarded to any of the organization and you've started working as a Salesforce developer, right? So first thing is about understanding the application. So based on what app you are working on, maybe you can work on a sales service or any of the cloud. In order to make it configured as per the client's requirement, we have to do the code changes to be in place. We have to code it in order to integrate it. We have to be understand the web services to be in place. At the same time, we should know about how the logics are being put upon, how the classes works, how the variable works, how what are the how the Apex language, and which is being worked onto the force.com as a platform. And from there, once you are into the Salesforce developer, if you have a good understanding on the developer part, then you move up to a senior developer position, where the senior developer is having a I can say a more wide range of understanding of a Salesforce overall in place, which a developer can start learning with. And from Salesforce developer, we can move to a tech lead. So tech lead is someone who knows about the application, reviews the solutions, what we have it in place. Suppose I can give you the example. If someone comes and tells, okay, this is the Salesforce what we are using. This is the particular object, and this object we want email to go out, and when we are sending out an email, it should do this changes into the application automatically, or when the mail comes back to the Salesforce, it should update this fields into the Salesforce automatically, or it should do some other thing, right? So in order to achieve that particular requirement, we have to do sometimes the codes to be in place, and Salesforce is consists of so many I can say the features where which we talk about, the triggers, the permission sets, the workflow rules, assignment rules. These are all the concepts of Salesforce where I don't want to get into. These are the different concepts which we uses into the Salesforce to come up to a to fulfill the requirement what we have to deliver it to the customer at the last. Okay, so starting from developer, you can be into a position where you can design the whole solution altogether, or to review that solution which is coming from the application, or coming from the different developers, senior developers, and the tech leads.
Okay, so in the interest of time, we will take the last two questions, and the rest questions, students, you can post it on the chat window. We will try to come up with a blog which will have the answer to most of the questions. So, last two questions we'll take. So, Aditya, what is the Apex Infotech technology in Salesforce field? That's one question from Saurav.
Apex Infotech.
I'm not sure. Saurav Chakrabarti has written this question. If not, we can take the other question. So a lot of students have written, how can we get a job in Salesforce and TCS? So guys, currently we are not doing any Salesforce specific hiring at TCS. But yeah, in case if you get selected and you join TCS, in case you have certifications and you know about Salesforce and you have interest in this particular career, then we can always check and try to give you projects relating Salesforce. One last question we'll take. So one more question I'm getting from many students is, what is the basic difference between a Salesforce administrator and a Salesforce developer?
Okay, so as I told, right, Salesforce developer is more who works to put the logics to be in place, where we are having the different requirements, where we have to update the code altogether. So that is something a core developer will do, and who are having a good logics to be in place. When we talk about the Salesforce administrator, so in Salesforce, you need to understand there are the two different concepts which Salesforce offers. So one is customization and one is configuration. So I hope most of you should know what is the difference between a customization and the configuration. So uh, do we have the idea about it? What is the customization and configuration is all about? So, sorry, everybody's on mute. So, when we talk about the configuration, right? So, configuration is something configuring your application without doing any coding to be in place. Suppose you want a button to be in place, which is already offered by Salesforce. You just need to enable it. So, this is something the administrator part which you are doing just to enable that button. So, and there are so many things apart like this which administrator can do, like activating the different rules to be in place, creating a new org, creating a new roles and profiles to be in place, configuring some of the other changes in the Salesforce itself that doesn't require any code to be touched. It is a pure steps to be followed, and based on that steps, the application will behave. When we come to a customization part, which is more into the uh, uh, coding part, which is being taken care by the developers, where we have to create the visual force pages or the apex classes to achieve any of the functionality. Suppose we have to integrate any application with Salesforce. There are so many integration points. Suppose a SAP needs to be integrated with Salesforce, so that integration required sometimes visual force to be designed, the apex class to be returned at the same time, the changes needs to be done into the Salesforce, logics to be put it into the Salesforce to behave it accordingly. So this is what the main difference between the administrator and a developer. Administrator mainly works on the configuration of the Salesforce, and the customization part is mainly being taken care by the developers. So even though being you guys in a college, uh, I'll suggest to you, if you are having a good coding concepts to be in place, focus more onto the administrator, this developer part. And if at any point of time, because we know ourselves, right, that being in a college for 4 years, how much logic I have put it into the place to complete any of the project. If you finds out, no, this is not my cup of tea, where I can do the code, or if I can put the logics to be in place, the configuration is something which you can always opt for. And there is nothing as such that is there any difference in career path down the line. So both offers you same thing. If you are love to be a coder, you can, you, and then also you can be a on the top position of technical architect. If you choose to start with administrator, you can be a very good consultant down the line, you can be a very good techno functional BA down the line, and you can also go for the same level of certifications to be in place.
Thanks a lot, Aditya, for the amazing session. I'm sure our students have a clarity on what sort of different roles are there if they want to make their career in to Salesforce. Also, how if they're interested into starting their career in this particular technology. So, what is there for them in this particular Salesforce career? So, with this, we'll close the session. So, students, we will try to upload the recording of this session on Campus Commune portal if possible. Also, the questions that we could not take up, we'll see if we can post a blog relating the questions on Campus Commune on Monday. So, thanks a lot, everyone. Uh, Thanks a lot, Aditya, Ram, Padma. So, I'm closing the session now.
Thanks a lot, everyone.